Is it just me, or someone else finds it odd that we don't see any other humanoid animals in Bluey besides the dogs? Like, where are the humanoid birds or cats? Maybe they live in another city or they gone completely extinct by the dogs. Let's dive into another mystery. Hey beautiful people, I am Julie, and for those who are familiar with the Blue Dogs show, Bluey, must have noticed that the characters are all dogs. They're from many breeds, sizes and colors, really diverse stuff. But we don't see a single cat in the series. But Julie, why are you focusing on cats? Well, because there was an episode in Bluey where Honey and Bluey pretends to be cats, like how you're seeing on the screen right now. And there is also an imitations game where Bandit and Bluey take a bird that was injured to the vet. And take a look at this piece. There is a dog on the right and a cat on the left, the kind of pet that wasn't humanoid like the dogs we see in Bluey. Those two little details made me think, because we can see that in the world, only dogs evolved. Meanwhile, other animals were left behind in evolution. So much that to see fishes, turtles, birds, and even lizards behaving like real animals and not like humans. And there is, my friends, where old Julie here comes to theorize. Every country has its own species. For those who don't know, Bluey is set on Australia, a country in Oceania. That said, an entire region inhabited by humanoid dogs. But what if the dogs were the dominant species only in Australia? That could imply that other animals inhabit other countries, like in America, where the population of this region would be entirely of kangaroos, for example, or even in Brazil, that would be colonized by blue macaws or guara wolf, a famous canine species here. But in your opinion, which animal could have colonized America? Write down in the comments which species would think it's better and why. I think the bison would be a great one. But even this is a great idea, it's possible that it's going to be discarded in the future. That's because in the episode Takeaway, we see Bandit with the daughters in a Chinese restaurant. That could indicate that Bluey's version of China is also taken by dogs, and not pandas, for example. That would be another hint that cats, on the other side, don't behave the same as normal people. Unless no one could evolve besides dogs. What if dogs were the only species that could adapt to the new lifestyle after humans disappeared? Even so, because these animals were said to be man's best friends. I think that this would explain why dogs would be the only one to progress in Darwinism, while other animals were left aside, behaving like wild animals that don't talk. The dogs exterminated the humans. This theory is kind of heavy, but what if the dogs really did that so they could be on the top of the food chain? Even because if you think about it, when you're fighting to survive, it's necessary to eliminate the competition. Even because in the animal world, it's unalive or be unalived. Yeah, you heard me. I can't say everything because YouTube would cut my monetization. Animals Revolution. Yes, I made a reference to that book that no one might have even heard about or read it, but serious talk. What if somehow cats and dogs could evolve to the point of being omniscient, like humans, developing even speech? I think that it's hard that two totally different species live in harmony, without talking about the personality of felines to be very different than dogs. That could, my friend, engender a war between these two species. Kind of a great war in the Bluey's universe. And what were the results? Two possibilities. Humanoid cats were totally extinct from the planet, making the dogs the predominant species in the world. Or maybe the cats end up losing the war, and not to be totally extinct, they ran away to another place, far away from dogs, so they could live hidden, but in peace. But who knows, maybe they're planning some kind of revenge on the dogs, am I right? That if all this is real, but to this point, what do you think of this theory? Leave a like in this video if you enjoy it, because the next theory is a little more realistic and I think you enjoy it more. Post-apocalyptic world. I know that the post-war theory is a cliche as the coma theory, but believe me, what if it was really it? What if Bluey is the consequence of a World War III? Or better, a nuclear war? Maybe like the Mushroom War from Adventure Time that decimate half of the people, while some were infected and ended up as zombies, and leftover humans that were also infected by radiation ended up mutating. And that would be more or less Bluey's plots, with humans going bye-bye by their own crafted wars. Then, the other remaining animals would continue their cycle, but because dogs had more contact with humans, they would mimic their behavior, like talking or standing. To emphasize that, there is an episode that wasn't released for some reason, and in it we should see Bandit showing the first bones of the first dog to walk in two paws. Bizarre, huh? Now look at this image that Bandit himself shows us. It's a dog from the Stone Ages, holding a body of a little unlived kitten. These little details exploded my mind, because there could have happened a similar thing of what I mentioned in the last topic, where dogs would hunt down cats and felines in general to feed themselves, proving that the dogs really were following human steps. Then, with the passing of time, only dogs would continue to evolve, while the rest of the animals would still be wild and domesticated nowadays. And with that advance, soon the dogs would learn how to create fire. They would discover minerals and found their own civilization. So they could in the future learn how to drive, create new tech, and so on. And man, you have no idea how this could be such a nice plot to this show. That seems way simpler and normal. But Julie, this is a child cartoon. You were seeing too much. It's worth to remember that child cartoons like Courage the Cowardly Dog and Samurai Jack hit those plots and bizarre theories in between the lines. So I wouldn't think absurd that Bluey could follow the same path, but in a more subtle way. Like, instead of throwing in our faces where humans and cats were, the show leaves some hints in the air, like bandits in archaeology. I wonder if in this dog world, dogs have already landed a foot on the moon. If there is any extraterrestrial life in this universe. If so, maybe those ETs would be cats or even other species of animals. I think that we are left to theorize. But hey, what do you think about this theory? What is the most likely hypothesis? And look, if you have your own theory, write it down below in the comments section so we can debate about it, alright? So don't forget to subscribe if you are new. Thank you so much for watching until here, and hasta la vista!